Couple of things I wanted to hop into here really quickly is that the more clear I get on kind of what I want to do, what's going to make me happy, not thinking about what all the talking heads are telling me I should be doing and shoulding all over me. Um, I just get a lot more clarity, even just taking a direction towards something. Today, I set up a conquest calendar for first quarter. It looks amazing to look at the next really 2.5 months out to see what it is that I have planned, how long it's going to take, how long each chunk of my goals are, what they look like on a calendar. And I realized, like, when I changed internally, the universe starts bringing me these really awesome breadcrumbs. I'm going to talk about one of those that I got yesterday that just really elevated my energy. It was awesome. Uh, and it just inspires you to keep creating and to keep moving forward. And I realized that in the next 2.5 months, I'm going to have everything done that I need to do to lay the foundation for this new offer, this new, it's not really even new. It's just this concerted effort to hone in what I've been doing over the past 7 years and the kind of last 2 years with artificial intelligence in my business. And that leaves me 9 months for 2025 to refine, market it, drill in, do the kind of like the boring things, to like bring people into my community and have the faith and work on the internal game to make all of that happen. Want to share a really quick story. So there's a woman at my local grocery store here. See her every Monday. Clear flirtation happening. And last weekend, I left with my groceries. I came back and I got some Zoom spray. I'm like, I gotta have the smell goods. And I really not into smelly type things. I like Nag Champa. I like things that smell good, but I've just been wanting sort of like a refresher spritz. I was introduced to Zoom, ZUM, I believe it's pronounced ZUME. Can't remember exactly the name of it, but no affiliation, not promoting it or anything, but smelled a couple of scents, got introduced to them through yoga. I'm like, you know what? I want some of this. So I go to my store, I vacillate on a couple of smells and I pick one, amber. It's called amber scented. And there was another one, frankincense and myrrh, that I'm like, ooh, that's pretty good. But I'm like, I don't know, that felt too Christmassy. I don't know if that sounds weird, but like, it just felt like, I don't know. Go to the counter, buy it. She's like, oh, I really like the frankincense and myrrh. And I sat there and I debated. I'm like, do I put the amber back and go with frankincense? Cause I liked them both. I'm like, I'm just going to get the amber. I leave, go about my business. Yesterday, um, I get home and there's a surprise in my bag. Before I get into that, it's been so cold here that the door handle on my uh Toyota Tacoma snapped. Like the plastic hook inside of it got so cold and brittle that it broke. Unfortunately, that just happened very recently to the passenger side. So, both handles were affected by the cold pretty much within the same time period. So I'm effectively locked out of my truck because I don't have the means to open my door. I have no door handle. Windows are up. Luckily, I had a back window that was cracked open that I could I could get into. I had a tool in the back of my truck that I use for all my camping setup, where I use the modified painter's hook, if you will, like a painter's rod or a roller arm. What do we call that technically in painting? Um, I'm gonna leave that, and I fish things out of the truck with it. So this was a great way for me to like reach into the passenger side door, pull on the latch and like get it, but I couldn't open it. I needed another tool to like push the door open. I'm freezing at this point. Like, it's so cold. Like, I can't even feel my hands. I'm dealing with a broken thumb. Every part of me wanted to just get so irritated and frustrated. First thing with them, oh man, that's gonna be $300 times two. It's 300 aside. I'm locked out of my truck. What's going to happen? And the wild thing about this is I totally had precognition about it. There was a very clear moment in my mind when I was on a bike ride 2 days ago where I'm like, that driver's side door handle is going to fail. I totally knew it was going to happen. And sure enough, yesterday it happened. Go into the grocery store, go back in and see her. I'm like, I have a really odd request, but like, do you have a broom? I need a broom handle. And I kept briefly explained what happened. She hooks me up, takes care of it. I get the door open. Awesome. Say goodbye. We have a nice another little secondary chat, and I'm on my way. So I got to see her a little bit extra. We got to engage a little bit more. Not only that, I had a spare set of clothes to go back to yoga. So I went back to hot yoga for yin and just settled into really warming up because I'd already done a hot yoga class. Mondays I do a bike ride, a hot yoga class, to groceries, typically. I thought maybe I'll do yin tonight. So I threw a spare dry set of workout clothes, if you will, or yoga clothes in that bag. By the time I got into my truck and everything, I was so cold, I wanted nothing more than to just be hot and warm. So I went back to yoga. It was great. So in that as well, I got this beautiful closing quote at the end of that class. The end of that class is, from darkness and the muck, a golden lotus blooms. Golden lotus blooms. It was just pure beauty. That said, I get home, I'm unpacking groceries, and I'm like, my mind is really confused because in the bottom of the bag is a bottle of another Zoom spray bottle. And I look and I flip it over and there's this orange sticker on it that said paid, thank you. And I'm like, I was so confused because I'm like, I didn't go back to the Zoom thing. And is this the aisle sampler? Because they have sample bottles, sample so you can smell them without consuming ones that people buy. No, that wasn't it. I'm like, and it dawned on me like, oh, she did this. She gave this to me. It just was such a kind act that I can't quite explain how it made me feel. I just felt so loved by this person. Like, just these casual conversations over the past few months. And after the cold and the broken handle and like just working through things, I get this beautiful gift from her. And the really cool thing about it is I had mentioned at checkout, yeah, I like the amber. It's pretty good, but I think I'm going to get the other one, when this one runs out, something along those lines. Well, thinking nothing of it. In my vehicle after yoga, driving home. So this is after grocery singer, after a second round of yoga, hot yin yoga. I have the thought. I had asked her during the check, I'm like, hey, do you know about Nag Champa? Have you ever had Nag Champa incense? No, I haven't had that. That sounds good. I've been wanting to get into incense. So I am driving home and I have the very clear thought. I'm like, she's never had Nag Champa. It's your favorite. Just give her some. You have a whole I have a whole box coming from Amazon. I'm like, just give her some next Monday. So I have that very clear thought. If I go through this whole rigmarole, I get home, I open my bag, here's this frankincense and myrrh. And I'm just like, whoa, like I straight up had the thought I wanted to gift her Nag Champa. In return, immediately, instantly, I am gifted the frankincense and myrrh. And it's It smells so good. For the record, it's so good. I went crazy with it, a little too crazy. It smells so good, so much better than the amber, my opinion. So that said, it absolutely made my night, made my day, and it didn't have to. I allowed it to. The reason is like I had no expectation. I have no um attachment. I just accepted it for what it was, which is a beautiful, kind act that this person thought of me so much so ahead of time that before I showed up to the store, she went and got this bottle of frankincense and myrrh, paid for it, put a sticker on it, stashed it under the counter, and waited for a minute for me to look away to slip it into my bag. I mean, that is a very loving thing for someone to do. Whether you're in love with them or not, or whether you're in a relationship with them or not, that's a very thoughtful kind act. So all that to say, I just have been really impressed with once I shift my energy up, the level of encouragement that comes from the universe is truly astounding. We'll talk about one more thing that happened today that was awesome. I'm in a cohort, professional coaching cohort for AI and automation, with one of the leaders in the industry. And he sent out a final call reminder to his members saying, "Hey, I want to feature you. I want to feature you on my YouTube channel if you've had some success in this space." And I don't know what it was. I mean, I do know what it was. My lower frequency, my dark place, when he first announced it 2 weeks ago, I'm like, no, that's not me. I don't qualify. Like, what? And then last night, after being elevated and after having this beautiful experience, helping me maintain this higher level of positivity and mindset, I'm like, you know what? I absolutely have a case study I'm going to apply. So you have to go through a process. You have to have financial proof that you've sold the thing. You have to have a thing that you built and sold, etc. So I filled out the application this morning, and I'm pretty confident that I will get featured on his YouTube channel, which is going to expose me to 200,000 views or more based on his last post that he did. So I just want to say, like, I'll close on this for this particular jam. I was reading in Stuart Wilde last night about if you're a slug vibrating at 2,000 cycles per second, you don't have anywhere to fall from. If you're moving towards initiate status and you're vibrating at a number 300 cycles per second, these numbers mean nothing. They're just a frame of reference that I'm quoting Stuart Wilde from. He made up the numbers just to paint a picture of like people's frequencies and the rate of vibration. If you're at an initiate level, maybe you're at maybe instead of 30,000 or whatever I said before, it's 100,000. Well, you fall far. You fall fast when you fall out. And this has been one of the greatest lessons for me to realize, like, number one, how important it is to protect my thoughts and guard my energy, to really do a concerted everyday effort to guard and protect my energy. And also to have grace with myself to be like, yeah, man, like when you're way up there and you fall pretty far. I mean, there's the act of arresting, if you're sliding down the mountain with your mountain axe or whatever, you can arrest the fall and hopefully not fall as far. But gravity is a real deal. And that's an analogy towards our spiritual path. And so it's never a straight line up. It's a up and down effect. It's a frequency, literally up and down. And I've realized that just as quickly as I can fall out, I can climb back up. And I'm just seeing all over the place. One more thing I want to share: rolling the dice, Russian roulette with gasoline in my truck, just because I wanted to get over to the other store and get uh, fuel points. And I was going to maybe go get something that I can only get from that store anyway. And I'm like, I should have gone. I'm running an errand. I got to get dog food this morning. And I have the thought like, oh, you messed up. You should have went to City Market to get the fuel and then go over. I'm like, no, it's the same distance either way. And plus, I think this is going to be faster. I got enough to get me there. I am just getting over the hill to descend down into the pet store, and the truck starts chugging, and there's a gas station in that duplex, or in that complex rather. Another thing. It's like so cold. So the coldest day that I can think of that we've had this winter. Universe hooked me up, man. Straight up like, bro, you need gas. Warning. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you this downhill to coast in, and like, let's get you some gas right now. So that's what I did. It is what it is. Hope you found it helpful. Just wanted to document. Biggest thing of this is that when I take an initial step towards getting clear, breadcrumbs appear, and I start feeling better about taking the action. And I don't need to see the whole thing. I just need to see a couple feet out, maybe, a couple yards out, to make it from Stuart Wilde talks about, you're in the fog, stepping from stone to stone in the river crossing or whatever. That's all you need. Just a happy frog jumping from stone to stone. The universe will reveal the path. That's where I'm at. I'll talk to you later. Cheers.